Opacity masks allow you to mask elements in Illustrator in an even easier and more powerful way than clipping masks. With opacity masks, the mask is based on the color and opacity of the mask. Let's take a closer look at how this feature works. Now, I'm beginning this video with the opacitymask.ai file already open on my computer. And you can see in this document I have an image that I placed from another file, and I also have some vector-based artwork that I also have on this artboard as well. Now, what I'm going to do, you want to make sure that we open up our transparency panel. So mine is located over here in my panel dock. If you're not seeing yours, just go to the window menu and choose transparency. And you want to make sure that you have your options showing in the transparency panel as well. So either click on this double arrow until you have all your options showing, choose Show Options. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that I select all of the artwork and all of the image that I have as well. So right now I have my artwork grouped to make it a little bit easier, but if you don't, you can just do a Command A to select all the artwork as well. And with both of these selected, I'm going to come over here and click the Make Mask button. And you're going to notice right away a couple of things happened. You'll notice that in the transparency panel, you've got two icons now, one for the content and one for the mask. And in addition, your artwork has changed so that now the mask is only showing the portion where the artwork on top was located. Now, you'll notice too that it's kind of subdued, it's ghosted back, and that's because I have this vector-based element filled with green. And what we should really do in order to show it at 100%, I want that filled with white. So I'm going to click on the mask to select it, and then what I'm going to do is go to the swatches panel and make sure I fill this with white. And you'll then see that we now see our artwork, or that I should say the image beneath it, at 100%. Now the cool thing about an opacity mask is that it's very easily editable. What we could do is you want to make sure you're clicked on the mask right here, and I'm going to grab my pencil tool, make sure the fill is set to white, and if I come over here and just draw some interesting shape here, I'm going to draw my imaginary island right here. And when I finish up, you'll see that I'm now revealing this portion of the image as well. So when you're looking in the transparency panel and dealing with opacity masks, remember that with the mask, white reveals what's on the content area and black conceals. So you have the ability to make adjustments to this at any point in time. So you'll notice when you hover over this, you can click on the content thumbnail to stop editing the mask, or you can click on the opacity mask to edit it. And you may need to grab your selection or direct selection tool and click on the artwork to make even more detailed edits. You can grab the selection tool as well. If I click on the mask area and do a Command A or a Control A on Windows, I can select the entire thing. And you can even adjust the opacity. If I drop the opacity to like 60%, now I'm actually reducing the opacity of the mask itself and only partially revealing the content. So I'll go ahead and change this back to 100. And in addition, you can always make edits to the mask as well. So isolation mode is helpful in this case. We can come over here and click on the content area, and if we double click, we're now editing in the content area. So if I were to grab, say, like my ellipse tool, and maybe I'll change my fill color to, maybe I'll just do like a lime green here, I can draw shapes on this content layer, and you can see that I'm adding it to the content, but the mask is still only revealing that portion of the artwork on the content layer. So you need to keep that in mind, and isolation mode makes this really easy to work with. When you're done editing, you can hit the left arrow a couple of times to get out of there. If you decided you wanted to get rid of that, you can just go ahead and double click and then click on that circle and delete it, and now you're back to seeing only the image. So I can double click on this, and that'll get me out of the isolation mode here, and then I can go back to my transparency panel. So you have to click on this object, and I should show you too, if you go to the Layers panel and you open up the Layers panel, it'll show you all the elements of your mask right here. Now, if I go back to my transparency panel, we can always see this, and you have the ability to do things like invert the mask, so that's going to basically swap it, and there's really nothing to show there in this case, so we'll go ahead and turn that off. You can also go to the panel menu. You can release the opacity mask if you want to. You can also disable the opacity mask, and you can also unlink it as well. So where that comes in particularly helpful is in the event that you want to move the content independently of the mask, because right now as I move this object, both the mask and the content moves together. So I'm going to undo that. But if I uncheck this link button, now when I drag, I can only shift, the image within the mask. And it makes it really easy for me to visually see the change and the adjustment that I'm making. So I'll go ahead and turn that link back on. And as you can see, opacity masks can take a little getting used to. However, they're extremely powerful and flexible. Give them a try when working on your next project, and you're sure to appreciate this feature.